Chapter 7, looking at building a business using the web. And in this chapter, we're going to look at some basic terms that can be used interchangeably. And the first term we're going to look at is e-commerce, which is buying and selling of merchandise through the internet. And then we're also going to look at the term e-tailing, which is an activity of direct retail shopping that provides 24-hour availability, global reach, and the ability to interact and provide customer information and ordering and multimedia prospects. And the amount of apparel that is sold on the internet is growing rapidly. In 2010, online apparel and accessory sales in the US were 16.7% of sales, and it is projected that by 2018, 35% of apparel and accessory sales in the US will be through the internet. And this just shows that online retailing is growing by leaps and bounds, and many companies are staying afloat because of their online stores and sales. Many new online businesses are started each year, and some reasons why so many online businesses are started are because of the following benefits. The first benefit is low startup cost. It costs considerably less to start selling items online than having to open a store, especially if you sell items somewhere like Etsy, where you don't have to have your own website. However, it can take thousands of dollars to put together a great website and buy inventory for an online store. Also, another benefit is a steady stream of new customers. If you have a small boutique in a small town, opening an online store gives you access to new customers from around the world. So your potential customer base online is in the billions. Also, another benefit is that diverse products, and that there's a large array of products in a wide range of prices online, and consumers search for products online and compare shop since there are so many options out there. And the last benefit is that on the internet you can specialize in one product area globally. So for example, on the screen is a company called Shopbop, and that's from their website, and they offer designer apparel and accessories exclusively online. And they sell to people all around the world. Also, Zappos is another company who sells footwear exclusively online and can sell all over the world. Looking at e-business models that you can use, the most popular e-business models are online storefronts. And this most closely resembles a brick and mortar storefront and is the most common type of e-business. And this model displays information about the product or service for sale and then accepts orders for those services through a shopping cart. And your shopping cart is an application that uses an order form to process orders with your payment through credit card or PayPal. And the products are shipped to the customers, and they can get automatic downloads also through shopping carts of music and software. And the most effective online storefronts offer recommendations for add-ons on their website. They also have customer reviews on their website and estimated arrival dates. And someone who's really great at this is Amazon. Another e-business model is online auction sites. And this allows you to buy or sell items through a bidding process. And the best example of this is eBay, in which the seller pays a fee to the site operator to list items for auction. And eBay has 45 million users and 15 million auctions going at any one time. And the company is only 19 years old. Also, eBay now offers boutiques for famous designers to offer their latest collections. And a great thing about the online auction sites is they don't manage the products, it just brings the buyer and seller together. Another form of e-business model is a portal, and it's a website that links online merchants with online shopping malls and auction sites, and they allow the user to collect information, browse multiple independent storefronts. So a popular portal is BizOffice. You can also refer to the chart in your textbook, which is box 7.1, and it lists a wide range of e-models that are available that you could use. Now we're going to look at the main 3 steps to planning an e-business. The first step is your idea needs to be developed to its fullest potential, and then it needs to be examined and carefully evaluated using a variety of methods. And then finally, your idea that emerges from the first 2 steps should be further developed into a formal business plan. And some people believe opening an online retail business is much easier than a brick and mortar business. However, you need to go through almost all the same steps as a brick and mortar establishment and develop a business plan fully. You can look more at how 3 different companies started their e-businesses differently, and you can look at this on pages 139 through 141, and it's in box 7.2. When starting an online business, it's best to target a niche market than rather the mass market like large companies such as Amazon do. A niche is a small specialized part of a market that is not served or cost effective for a major well-established company to serve. Some examples of niche markets are Zappos, Urban Outfitters, Etsy, and Lucky Scent. And as you can see by the questions listed on page 138 of your book, you need to ask many of the same questions when developing your niche as you would with a brick and mortar store. So for example, you need to determine your target audience, you need to determine their psychographics, you need to look at how to develop a site to cater to that target audience and how you want that site to have the image that they want to portray. You also need to look at what is the best way to promote your website. So how do you advertise to meet your target customer and let them know you're out there? So most online businesses are developed around selling products that are created or purchased by the company. So these products will need to be priced, warehoused, and then packaged and shipped out to customers who purchase them. So you need to make sure to sell products that can give an adequate profit. And products that you make yourself and sell online bring a higher profit than those bought. And a great example of where you find these type of products is on Etsy, which is pictured in the slide. And Etsy has products from 150 countries, and it's a niche website with original products that are handmade of high quality. And this is an example of where Etsy connects sellers of handmade products with consumers who are looking for those products or buyers. And so some factors that give e-businesses advantages over others, especially if you're doing a product that you have specifically created yourself. Some of these factors, first is product quality. So products that are created by the business allow for a greater control of product quality. So if you're hand making the products, they tend to be of higher quality. Also, if it kind of also goes along with private label products that different companies have, they have more control over the product and the quality, and they can test for quality. JCPenney actually does quality control testing on all of their private label products. Another factor that's an advantage is originality. So products that are hard to mass market, like custom jewelry, will do well online because they can reach their customer. Also, a niche product will do well online, and it's a specialized product for a group of consumers. So we've kind of mentioned niche products. An example of a niche product would be a newborn crocheted hat. So that's for a very specific market, which would be mothers who have just had babies. Also, you have a built-in customer base. So certain niche products will have a built-in customer base already developed. Now we're going to look at buying and reselling goods online, which is what more of your retailers do that are different from Etsy. So most entrepreneurs buy products and sell them through their own site, auctions, or a third-party website. Buying wholesale means purchasing products at a discounted price and then reselling them at a marked up price. And usually you have to buy in bulk to receive the discount when buying wholesale. And once you get the merchandise, you're going to have to store the merchandise. You're going to have to mark it up with a price and a SKU. You're going to have to ship the product to the customer, and you're going to have to handle returns and exchanges. So those are all really important aspects that you need to figure out before you start your company and how you're going to do those things. Now we're going to look at building and managing your inventory, and it's important to offer all the products that your customer would like to buy online. So you need to plan a merchandise assortment that's heavy in styles, colors, and sizes customers will order, and light in those that are ordered less frequently, which is referred to as inventory management. So you need to look and say, okay, what sizes do I sell the most of? I need to keep those in stock. What colors do I sell the most? What styles? And those are the ones that you need to have more inventory on. Also, if an item is not in stock, customers will usually not wait a few days for it to come in. They will just order a similar item from the competition because it's easy to find it online. So this makes it imperative that you know what types of products to have on hand and how much to stock. So your stock is maybe even more important online than it is in the store. Entrepreneurs need to then make sure that they consider the following things when determining their inventory. They need to think of their budget. So how many products can you afford to buy? Also, you need to look at shopping cart limitations. So we talked about how with your website, you have to have a shopping cart where they can pay. And shopping cart software is more expensive for businesses that have a larger inventory or amount of products that they sell. So Walmart shopping cart would be way more expensive than a small boutique's software would be. So depending on your budget, you may not be able to afford a large amount of inventory because you can't afford the shopping cart software. And also you need to think about the timing of product availability. And this deals with how long it takes you to get items and affects how many pieces of a product you need to stock in inventory. And during peak selling times of the year, you will need to stock more than other times. So, if it takes you 3 months to get a product from your wholesaler, then you're going to need a lot on hand to make sure that you don't run out and that you reorder once your inventory gets to a certain level. And also you will have like peak selling times of the year. For example, if you sold wreaths, you're going to need to stock up more on your big holidays because that's going to be your big selling times of the year. Now we're going to look at the marketing. So once you know what products are to be sold and how much they can be sold for and the amount of inventory to be stocked, now you need to market these products to the customer, and you must develop a competitive marketing plan to succeed in online retailing, and you do this through branding and advertising. And there's 4 main advertising options for online marketing. The first is banner advertisements, and actually a banner advertisement is shown in this slide. It's the Coach, if you look at the 2 Coach ads, and they are rectangular ads that display basic information about an e-business or its product line, and if they're clicked on, they take the viewer directly to their website. And they are especially effective when they are visible for long periods of time and are placed on high traffic websites, but they are the most expensive advertising option. And the cost of banner ads is done in 3 ways. The first is cost per thousand, and it's dependent on the number of people who visit the website hosting the banner. Then there's the click-through rate and the cost per click, which are very similar because they're based on the number of people who click on the banner to go to your site. That's the click-through rate one. The cost per click one is also based on the number of people who click on the banner to go to your site, except that you bid against other retailers for the ad, and billing is based on the auction price. So it can be more expensive than the click-through rate, or it could actually be less expensive. So with these 2 options, you need to ensure that your keywords explain your product well if you're going to use the click-through or cost per click method. There's also pop-up advertisements, and this is a browser window that opens automatically when on a user's computer whenever they visit a site. And they are twice as effective as banner ads, and they require you to take immediate action to close them, and they take up your whole screen. However, they can be annoying, and many computer users have blocked their pop-ups, so that can be one disadvantage to using them. You can also use search engine advertising, and this is when products or websites are tied to specific keywords. A benefit of search engines are its target consumers who have already specified their interest in your keywords. An example would be if you go onto Google and you would type in jeans, and ads would pop up on the side. And this advertising has a higher rate of return because the ads only show up for the people who have typed in the interest in your product, and you're usually billed on a per click basis. And those companies who pay more for the click basis appear higher on the list. So the example of this would be Google AdWords, is where you would do the search engine advertising. Another form of advertising is classified advertisements, and it's a text formatted promotion used in print and internet media, and they provide buyers with an easy way to sort through and find what they're looking for, and they're inexpensive and can be managed by email. So an example of a classified advertisement would be Craigslist. And you can also use internet mailing lists to promote a sale to your customers, or say a trunk show. But you wouldn't be able to do this when first starting your company, because you have to have built up an email list to be able to do this. All online retailers want to get more traffic to their websites, and there's 4 creative advertising promotions that can be used online that we're going to look at. And studies show that it's 6 times more effective to get a satisfied customer to return to your website than getting a new customer to your site. So existing customers often need encouragement to return and buy from an online retailer. And the 4 ways to promote things to them are through newsletters, blogs, news groups, and podcasting. And newsletters are one of the best ways to encourage patronage shopping, and it's a communication tool that either contains an article, a special, a discount, or other information promoting the business and their products. And it's a great way to communicate upcoming sales, new product arrivals, and trends. And when a customer finds a newsletter useful, they see the online retailing as a trusted source for future purchases. So an example of a newsletter would be when you get an email about, say, a flash sale that Loft is having. Next are blogs, and that's an online digital diary or forum where text, photos, videos, and other material can be posted. You all know what a blog is. They're easy to use and popular, and they can be used to preview new lines, announce new sales and special events. They can be used to provide practical tips to your consumers and strategies for using your products. And so an example would be you could show what to pair, this upcoming season scarves with, or what to pair a pair of boots with, what outfits go great with boots. Also, customers can provide feedback on blogs, and you can put testimonials on your blogs. And the slide that we're on right now is showing blogs for Free People and Urban Outfitters. You can also use news groups as a form of advertising promotion, and they're online communities of people interested in a certain topic. And membership is usually free, and you can post promotions or announce new line releases there. You can also use podcasting, and this is radio programming that can be produced, and then you put a link online. And this can be used to drum up hype for a new product or line, or to educate consumers about products. You can also look at box 7.3 in your textbook, and it gives you 12 tips for marketing your e-business. Now we're going to look at customer service and the different expectations that customers have between online and brick and mortar stores. In some services, all online retailers should provide to ensure great customer service are lots of product information that's given quickly, fast responses to questions with a customer service email address, a direct phone number to contact with, and a live chat and follow-up after the purchase. So customers who patronize a physical retail operation have the following expectations or beliefs. So they're the ones in the slide on that are in the middle. So first, the customers who shop in a store believe that it is more secure to pay in the store. They also believe that if they go in the store, they're going to get their product right away, which also provides instant gratification, while online you have to wait for your product to come in. They also believe that you get more personalized service and higher levels of service in store than you can online, because they can actually talk with a person. Also, some people feel that shopping in the store is their only option because they're not familiar with online buying. Also, a lot of people like to try on before they buy, so they feel like the store is the only way to do that because they need to see, touch, and try on items. And to counter this, online retailers can provide lots of photos and product information and customer reviews and good return and exchange policies. So if you look at the slide from that shows a online retailer site, if you look, they gave 5 different views of the pair of pants to try to counter this whole trying before buying issue. And then they also provided the latest reviews and product information. And the last is a big thing that keeps people from shopping online is shipping cost. And people will go in the store so they don't have to pay the shipping fees. So now looking at customers who their expectations for shopping online, um, people who shop online feel that they have greater research capabilities. So they can look at product reviews, get customer feedback, they can compare brands, and they make their purchases online with no pressure from a sales associate. So a lot of people like that aspect of online shopping. And actually, males really like that aspect, and they like to do research before making purchases, and they tend to buy more online than others. And also, you tend to research more for a higher end product than you do for a low end. So, example, if you're going to buy a car, you're going to do research before you buy a car and look around. Also, some expectations of online shopping is that you can find hard to find items online, or items that you can't find at the store near you. You can find those online, or out of stock items in the store. You'll be able to find those online many times. Also, another expectation is that you can get specialty items or niche items online through companies like Etsy. You can also find vintage goods online. Designer merchandise that's not available where you live is also found online. Another expectation of online shopping is the convenience. You can shop anytime, anywhere, 24/7. Also, a lot of people see value in shopping online because they feel like they can price around and get it cheaper. And also, they don't have to drive around town and take up time out of their day to shop, so they see value in that as well. And also price. You can compare your prices online and find the best deal. And the last expectation is extended inventory. Online stores have unlimited products and sometimes can order the product once the customer places the order. So they have usually a larger assortment online than most stores do, especially if you live in a smaller town. So people will shop online over their local store. And that's something I actually do for my kids' clothing. I will shop online for Gymboree than going in the store because I know our store is really small and terrible, and that I can get way more items online and I can usually get them at a better price. So continue looking at customer service. If you look at the photo above, it's highlighting Land's End, and they're known for their customer service. And some things that they offer on their website that is great customer service, they offer a live chat where you can chat with a sales associate. Yeah, they also allow you to shop their catalog online. They allow you to track your order and returns, and they give you contact numbers to reach on their site. So, online shopping competition is a key variable to online shopping, and competition is a key variable in an online retailer's success, and you must learn how to satisfy your customers' demands so they don't click over to your competitor's site, which will take them like 5 seconds. So the following is the most sought after and desirable product information that online customers want or demand. So they want product descriptions. They want all the details, but in layers. So they don't want it all at once. So a lot of times, if you look, it'll give you a little detail, but then about a product, and then you have to click somewhere else to get more detail. They like photographs because you can't see or touch the product. They want to see the product from all angles and then also see it up close. I actually really like photographs for clothing because I like to be able to scan in really close so you can see all the details. If there's any pattern or texture on your fabric, I like to be able to see that detail before I make a purchase. Also, they like to be able to see comparison products and similar products. So they like whenever on the side, a lot of times, I know Lands' End does this, it'll give you suggestions of similar products or complementary products. So say you're looking for a rash guard top, then on the side they'll give you rash guard bottoms to go with it once you've looked at that item. Also, consumers like to have reviews from customers, experts, and magazines, and Amazon actually was the first company to make reviews popular. Also, they like delivery options, so they want to know the cost up front, and then they want to know when your items are going to arrive, and they want a tracking number and delivery status. And last looks at return policies, and they want return policies where there are no shipping fees, but they want to know up front how accessible and detailed the return policies are, so they'll know where they're returned to, how they're returned, and what the fees will be if there are any. Also, there are special demands of online customers that aren't placed on brick and mortar stores. And the first one is that they're open 24 hours, and so customers are going to want answers 24/7, and they also want to use a variety of payment options. And some other things they expect is they want many times expedited delivery. So especially during Christmas time, people wait too late, so they need 2-day delivery, so they want that option. And that's another thing that Amazon has really honed in on. And they have Amazon Prime where you can get items within 2 days. They also want extended delivery times to meet shopping deadlines. It kind of goes with that expedited delivery. And they also want sufficient inventory so you're never out of stock, because then they'll just go to someone else. And they also expect to have increased service rep availability. So they just want to talk to someone with questions. So you need an online rep available during business hours at least. They also want flexibility with online and offline. So this means that customers, they want to be able to find stuff inline, also in store, and they also want to be able to return online merchandise to the actual store. So because most customers don't see that there's really a difference between the two business entities, so they expect them to be the same. And last is international service. And this is something that needs to be thought out because other countries' cultural differences can affect what you can sell and what your website image should look like and portray. And if you'll notice on some retailers' websites, you'll be able to click in different versions. So there'll be a US version, there'll be a Mandarin version. You can click on the different ones. They'll have different screens. It'll be written in their own language. And the reason that you would want to do a different website image is because different cultures relate to different things and see things differently. So in Asia, they like bright colors and a more busy site than we do in the US. And also, internet in other countries may not be able to support a lot of pictures or videos per page because it may be slower. So that's something to think about. You also need to make sure that your language is correct and basic and to the point. And many times email is going to be the best way to answer customer questions in international markets because it's going to be hard to understand them if we're talking. Now we're going to look at the 4 main steps to building and launching a website. So first you want to choose and register a domain name that identifies the name of the website, and it affects how easily a customer can find you on the web. And your website name needs to be as close to your store name as possible if you have a store. You can also choose a domain name that indicates what type of business or customer you're targeting. So example, if you sell baby clothing, you could be like Babies R Us. Also, the domain name needs to be easy to spell, simple to remember, short, contain important keywords, and start with a letter at the front of the alphabet usually. You also, the next step is the planning and designing an effective website. And your site should be simple, focused, easy to use, well organized, and have a great search engine function and be functional. So the website must have product categories. Customers need to be able to create an account. They need to be able to pay easily. You need a frequently asked questions page to help customers use the site effectively. And you also need a site map that shows how the web pages are linked to each other. And most sites have a home page, a catalog page, a customer account page, an order information page, a frequently asked question page, a content page, a map and direction page to the stores, a checkout page, a payment page, and a company profile or a history about us page. So those are kind of all the different pages that you would want to think about and consider having on your site. Next, you want to work with a professional web designer to ensure your pages function well and that you can move through the site easily and it's customer friendly, and that the site is laid out effectively so you can effectively move around easily. And last, you want to launch the new website, and you want to do this through promotions through social media and other sites. And the last slide is going to look at building a website and look at the site functionality. And the customer experience is the most important thing to keep in mind when developing your website. And the best websites provide an enjoyable experience and make consumers want to return. So the first level of basic function that most consumers expect on a website would be quick loading pages. So you can't have too much content on one page. They want easy navigation. So they want to be able to go back to the last visited page easily and quickly. They also want all the links to work well and properly and not be outdated. They also want all images to load quickly and correctly with big pictures that aren't grainy. So second level of is the interactive function that engages customers. And for this point, you first want to look at your site search. So how easy is it to find products and information on the site? You want to make sure it's really easy to do that. Also, you need to offer the option to download documents or articles that you have, or product reviews or owner manuals on your website. And last, you also need to make sure to have discussion boards and blogs because visitors like to interact with the business and other customers. So this could even be where you just leave your product review, would be a form of a kind of like a discussion board. And then the third level offers customers an enhanced experience on the website. Some examples of this would be where you could provide online demonstrations on how to use a new product or tutorials on how to use it. You could also have live 24/7 customer support where people can ask questions 24 hours a day. You could also have second language viewing options. And so this is an option to view the site in other languages. So big national retailers such as Nike offer this. And also you could have new media on your website, which would be videos and sound clips that engage customers and can show them the product in more detail. And this is used for higher end products. And this concludes chapter 7.